So you guys gotta forgive the heavy breathing in this intro. I'm taking my dogs to the dog park. Ducky. They're a little excited. Anyway, so I have an ABS light on, service trailer brake system light on, service traction control, and I gotta tell you, oh yeah, my fuel level gauge is messed up still too. It's almost time that I'm gonna have to change it. Anyway, just wanted to let you guys know that my repair on my right front wheel speed sensor was not a good fix. Let me show you the wheel speed sensor signals. Show you the codes in the ABS system. You see we have a right front wheel speed sensor, circuit open short. That's the one I was into before. Let me show you the data. Sorry for the heavy breathing. We must have broken all the way now, because the other day that right front was just jumping all over the place. I believe there's your rears. It's weird, the right rear. Oh, that was misleading, that data for the right rear. So this one doesn't record when it's off the screen, maybe? I don't know, that was weird. I didn't have any issues with the right rear. It was weird how it showed that signal. Just watch this right rear with me for a second. I gotta believe that was some scan data lag there or something. Yeah, that looks okay. That right front, see, I got no signal at all. Dip there in the left front too. Anyway, let me show you guys the sensor itself and what I saw. There's the combined signals of all of them. You see my right front, I have no signal at all. A little blip in that signal there when I turn the wheel. I see the error of my ways. So this wire, you kind of picture where it's at. I mean, this thing's just going to be bouncing all the time. And right there, it's split. And I bet you that's right where the strands of the copper wire inside broke. I'll try to take this apart carefully and we'll see. But I bet you after my repair, down in here, because it's no longer surrounded by this flexible silicone and a more rigid piece of heat shrink, you can see it, the heat shrink split. That sucks. I bet you my wires are broken right here. Well, some of you remember my ABS repair video from this bracket not being pushed in all the way, so it was loose and rubbing on the tire, and I fixed it. I'm pretty sure the area where I fixed it is still good, but underneath it, so the issue here was just the vibration. It looks like maybe it's split here. I can't tell if I put the heat shrink up to this point when I split the harness to fix it, but vibration, right? Just that over a couple thousand miles, and I bet you our brake is right there. That sucks. Yeah, so that failed right at the end of my heat shrink and the beginning of this rubber boot section that covered the orange part, the insulation, and just allowing that flex right there without being protected by the original orange sheathing. It just broke it. I'll try to fix it again. All right, I just slid this boot down, and that was the mistake I made, is, you know, that rubber boot ended right there. You can see the cut where I cut the orange sheathing before and fixed the wires. My repair was fine. The issue was leaving that gap between the end of my heat shrink and the beginning of this rubber piece, and then allowing that flex to be there. And yeah, it just snapped it. Very, very thin wires. So I understand those who wouldn't want to repair something like this and just change the whole hub again. But yeah, I wasn't going to warranty that. This was my fault. I didn't plug this in, if you remember from the first video, all the way. It wasn't snapped in. It rubbed on the tire, damaged it. And I forget what this hub was. A couple $100. Yeah, I just don't want to spend the money. Try to fix it again. After cutting this heat shrink off, my original repair, I should have extended the heat shrink down to here. So this time I'm going to do that. I didn't last time. I didn't know that I could slide this. I keep calling it a boot. It's just a rubber coupling that, you know, allows this mount to go here and hold the assembly. I slid this down. I didn't do that last time. I didn't think I could slide it. That was a mistake on my part. I think this is still totally fixable, as long as I extend the heat shrink down to here. My apologies for the voiceover on a screen recording, but I did not have a second hand to hold the camera while I repaired this, and I just want to talk about what I did, how I fixed it, and where my mistakes were if you didn't catch it. So the heat shrink did not extend all the way. You can actually see the gap right here in this image. In the first video, it was right about this point. This is the first video title and a little screen capture. Right around the 8-minute mark is where I finished heating that up, the heat shrink. And then in the next image, you can actually see the gap right there. And then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna put some liquid tape over it. It'll be fine. Not considering the amount of stress this was under. And so what happens when you're going down the road and this wire is bouncing up and down over and over and over again with that split already being there, where is the stress? The stress is on the wires inside. And with those wires being very tiny, it didn't take long for them to break. I think it was maybe a month or so, and then it was back with the same thing. Might have been just a little bit longer than that, but either way, very small amount of time for failure. And yeah, just picture that back and forth over and over and over. And snap the wires inside, as you can see. So it wasn't where I repaired it. It failed after the repair because I didn't extend the heat shrink over top of this boot, or not the boot, but the orange insulation inside that sheathing. And so the repair for me this time, because I had heat shrink butt connectors in there, I had to cut them out. And I was a little bit short on the harness, so I had to add some extension pieces. And then this time I ended up soldering. As you can see, there's solder, and then I'm using an adhesive lined heat shrink. This is the good stuff. You can see the stuff coming out of the heat shrink itself. You don't want to use that junky heat shrink that does not have that. So then I did the same for the other side. You can see the sealant coming out of these heat shrink tubes. So that's nice and sealed up now. No moisture is going to get in there. And then the next thing that I did, not realizing I could slide this boot down, I slid the boot down, and I want to extend the heat shrink over top of this orange sheathing on the bottom and on the top. So that's what I did in this image. You can see it extends over top of it up here, and then it also extends over top of it down here with the adhesive coming out of the bottom and the top. So now when this thing bounces up and down, which it will, this whole entire assembly is going to bounce up and down. It's protected. It's not going to put stress on the wires inside. And then the next thing I did is I slid this boot up over top. As you can see in this image, I slid the boot up over top of that heat shrink. It's a little bit split on that corner, but I was okay with that as far as the boot goes. It's back in its mounting location, and this should be a good fix. I could have claimed ignorance and got a warranty on this hub, but I wasn't going to do that. In my opinion, this was my fault from the get-go with me not plugging this part in or clipping this part in. It didn't snap in. I didn't pay attention to it. and that's what ended up doing damage to this part of the harness. Is it rubbing on the tire? You can see, you know, the tire damaged that part of the harness, and it had no, it was weird because it had no damage visually on the outside other than the orange sheathing or insulation that was over top of the ABS wires that are also individually insulated. Just shows you what vibrations can do with wires. I've seen this same scenario many times where the copper wires inside are broken, but the insulation on the outside is not. And you talk about something that trips people up, is having a broken wire inside of the insulation and it looks perfectly fine on the outside.
You'll have a problem right in the connectors themselves, like right in here. They'll actually be broken inside the insulation. So you guys that are watching this that have an open circuit or low voltage code, this code for these EVAPs, if you read 12 and 0, that's suggesting an open in the solenoid and you need to replace the solenoid. If you're reading 12 and 12 like I have with this same code, then you have an open in the wiring. And oh, sweet. Did you see that? That wiring was not, I just got lucky there and pulling on this. And you know, it's funny, I did this off camera and I tugged on these and it was fine. And that's why I turned the camera on. I said, man, I'm gonna have an opportunity to show maybe a bad computer driver or an open in the harness. And so what I was just talking about is every one of these I've ever seen, when you have a problem, it's been right in this area. And there it was right there. So I just was tugging on that, not hard at all. And that is why I'm setting that fault code. We need to fix that connector.
So the last thing for this would be Caleb's going to throw in the after ABS wheel speed signals on the scan tool. I did not put a scope on this, just showing it to you on scan data and you know, just to show you the final fix. But we are good to go. This was a mistake on my part. I understand why people wouldn't want to do this kind of repair. But for me, it was spend $300 more out of my own pocket or do this repair. And I was comfortable with this. And you know, what would you do on a customer's car is maybe a little bit different. I think I'd still be okay with this. Would love to hear your comments in this on what you would do. And guys, thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.